Okay, let's get started this evening. Welcome to our Monday, April 17th meeting of the Collegedale City Commission. Thank you for being here with us this evening. As we begin our meeting this evening, I've asked Commissioner Sadler to open us with invocation and pledge of allegiance.
If you'll all join me for a moment of silence. And if you'll please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
If we could have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Here.
Commissioner Lamb, Commissioner Sadler,
Here.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Here.
Mayor Lloyd.
Here. And I trust that we've all had a chance to look over the past minutes from our last meeting. Any questions, changes, deletions, corrections from April 3rd?
I move to approve.
Okay.
I'll
Do we have a
second. Second.
We have a motion for approval and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. Okay, at this part of our meeting, we open it up for citizens to step up to the microphone, make public comments. If you have a public comment that you'd like to make, something you'd like to share with the commission, please do so. Step up to the microphone, give us your name as well as your address, please. And no public comments? Okay, we will move on. We do not have any unfinished business. However, we have some new business. First reading of ordinance 1117. Could you read the caption, please?
An ordinance to amend the official zoning map to rezone certain properties from C2 Shopping Center Commercial to R1H High Density Single Family Residential, more particularly described as Hamilton County Tax Map 140, Parcel 163, said properties being located within the corporate limits of Collegedale, Tennessee.
Okay, we've had a chance to look over this. Any comments from any of the commissioners?
I was on the planning commission when this came to us. Now, I have to tell you, I voted no for it and it passed, which is that's how the process works. I'm just not sure that we are ready for. It's a small area. You have two retail or business establishments on both sides of the road. And then you have 5 homes in a circle. And I think we're going to have a lot of traffic, people going up, turning around, thinking they're going into the business, and there's not a business up there. I think there's going to be a lot of continuous concerns about people coming in there and, maybe parking up there next to homes when they're going to the businesses. I just don't know that that's right for us at this point, and that's why I voted no. So you know how I'm going to vote tonight now, apparently. So
Is this up here where JB's property?
it is,
JB's?
and that's where they have
Some
all
of them may
the
not be
sand or the gravel up there and stuff. I mean, I don't doubt it'll be a nice development, but you've got people picking up trash. I do have friends that live in the house right there in the subdivision that backs up to it. And you're going to have, people picking up trash, making noise on a weekly basis when they come in, pick up the dumpster, and just have some concerns about that.
May I ask a question? Does everyone understand where he's talking about?
Jason can pull it up on the screen if you would like.
Okay. I'm not sure they all understand
Okay.
the audience, the area that he's talking about.
Well,
Or maybe
Jason,
you
where
all
were you a
do.
few minutes ago when I was talking?
I was just thinking it might help them better just as to listen to the numbers, then they see where you're referring to.
Sure. And they've already done a lot of clearing in there and cutting of trees.
It's right up here before you come in.
The entirety of the property is currently zone C2.
Yeah.
They're requesting to downzone a portion of it and leave the front as C2.
Okay, so as you guys already know, my name's Jason. I'm the staff planner. Do you want me to briefly go over the whole presentation or just?
No, I just
No,
showed the
just
property,
show me
where
the
where the
location
property
is.
is.
Is all I'm asking. So they're kind of have a visual, what we're talking about.
Yeah, so here's the vicinity map. I-75 is to the north, and you can see Epson Pike running through the south, right below the highlighted property. And then you have Little Debbie to the east.
Is there a closer up copy, photo of that too?
I could blow it up. There we go.
Does that help people see it? So it's right next to Stratford Place up here?
Yeah, that's correct.
And I know we had some people come in and share their concerns with us before.
But it's right on Appleson Pike, and it's where, if anyone's familiar with if my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, it's where J.B. Underwood's mother lived,
Correct.
and the gentleman they're wanting to put in the front, but up on the top of the hill, they're going to put like 5 homes.
Correct. Can you
And
give
we
us
were
a-
talking, I know,
Yeah.
about a road one time.
We'll pull up the proposed site plan.
Yeah,
So here's another enlarged view.
okay, thank you.
Then here's the site plan. So the 2 lots down to the south, those are going to stay commercial. All 5 lots around the cul-de-sac would be residential.
Can you blow that up just a little bit?
How is the road? Because I know coming down from where the 2 retail places, I don't know what they're going to be, but what they're talking about, then it's just a straight road up? Is that?
Yeah, it would just be a cul-de-sac. So there's actually no road there now. There was a house, but that was demolished.
So how big I don't remember, how big is it 3 commercial spaces on each building, on each side of the road?
So right now there's 2 commercial lots. The applicant representative might be able to answer that. This is just a preliminary map, so we're not really sure
Because
how much commercial or how big the density would be for that.
So, but the road is going to be like going up through there, the road is, there. I know they was talking about the road.
Mhm.
That's what I'm concerned about, the road going from the retail up to the home.
It would meet standard subdivision requirements of less than 15%, 26 feet wide. And the applicant is here to answer any additional
Okay.
questions.
I just need a refresher course, okay?
I understand.
I'm like him with concerning with the retail, but then the getting up behind the retail, like the expansion of the roads, if it's going to be wider. As I know there was some, so like to answer some of his questions, it might handle some of his concerns about it having the traffic.
Right.
Do you mind giving us your name?
I'm Daniel Cannon with Miller McCoy. I'm the civil engineering project manager. The owner couldn't be here today. He sends his apologies. He had to run out of town for a business emergency, so I'm gonna try to help you the best I can. As far as the traffic concerns, I think it's a C2 request is to remain C2 for lots 1 and 7, down zone to R1 for 2 through 6. I think there's going to be more traffic if that area was allowed to remain C2. C2 is a heavier use and a heavier generator of traffic, potentially.
And my traffic concern is people continuously going past there and going up there and turning around in a neighborhood that's residential.
Yeah,
Is this-
we could probably do some signage or something dead end, or we could probably do some stuff like that to try to deter that.
Okay, it's my understanding these are supposed to be executive type homes. They're kind of be, what's the word I want to use? That they're more of an upper grader home and that there's not going to be that, I guess.
It could be, those lots they range from 1/3 of an acre to about 3/4 of an acre.
I didn't know if they were going to have like a gate or something, that type of subdivision.
Oh, gated community?
I don't think that's allowed on
That
a
would
public
not
street.
be Possible.
So this will be a new city street for us.
That's correct.
Well, ambulances and,
Correct. The cul-de-sac
Garbage
size
trucks,
for
okay.
ambulances and fire trucks and garbage trucks.
Okay, that answers my question. I don't know if it answers yours, but that's mine. Thank you.
Has there been conversation about would we need a red light, or what would be involved if we decided we wanted to see if we needed a red light there to help
We'd
those
need to
residents
see,
in the subdivision?
probably need to see what goes in there and what kind of traffic it generates to see whether or not that would be triggered.
We'd have to-
It would be up to TDOT. The connection will be per TDOT as well.
Yeah.
Speaking frankly, TDOT has been incredibly reluctant to add any additional red lights along there. So it would have to be an incredibly intensive usage to warrant one.
But wouldn't it be, I mean, when we look at red lights and things like that, like what I'm visualizing, tell me if I'm wrong, it's just gonna be just simple, like, even though it's just certain business, it'd be like pulling it over here to the plaza.
Correct.
You know, you just put on your blinker and you turn in, the road's already expanded out on Atchison.
Correct.
And there's turning lanes and things like that, so that would eliminate some of the problem. But,
And what they're showing is similar to what's being done on the Pratt development with the two exits, a left and a right, and then a right.
okay.
So how many businesses or retail are in each commercial building?
Really, we don't know yet. He hasn't identified any tenants that I'm aware of.
Like, you don't know
Now,
how big it is, if it's gonna be like 1 or 2 spaces or 3 or 4 spaces?
I would say it's going to be smaller than what you would typically want to have here because of the topo challenges. But I'm going to bet it's going to be something in the 8,000 square foot range for each parcel. I'm just guessing. Usually you can get about 10,000 square foot an acre. But with the topo on this, it's not going to be as much usable. And I don't have the site plan handy to see.
So I've seen drawings of other like possible commercial buildings. Just given the size, they're limited to being smaller in scale.
Okay.
It just seems like an odd mix with commercial business in the front and residential in the back.
I've seen places where that's like that, in Atlanta areas, surrounding areas where it's mixed in. I have seen that before and how they've,
The challenge with this piece of property is it's very skinny. It's kind of skinny and long. And and the topo is
it is
tough.
doable. I know that. I know that.
The applicant doesn't feel that the market currently would support entirely commercial. And that was their explanation for wanting to downzone to the residential.
Okay.
Just one other thing I'd note is that it's R1, the surrounding properties are R1 in the back. So it ought not be too big of a conflict.
So directly to the north, it's Hamilton County. It's all zoned R1. And there's already existing homes there. And directly to the east, there's already 2 existing homes as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, any further discussion?
So we've tried some things in the city, and I'll say, right across the street here, where Joe used to have his engineering, they put apartments at the top of it. And for many years, that was not successful. And I don't think Collegedale was ready for it. And I kind of had the same gut feel for this. I don't know if I'd want to live up there with commercial right there in front of me, with my kids playing in the front yard. I mean, hopefully it's going to be a nice area. Collegedale's pretty safe from that perspective, but I just don't know that that's right for me.
Yeah.
Well, I can understand where he's coming from, but I know too that if we look at the, how the Chattanooga city's like built in certain areas around, a lot of people don't like a lot of yard space anymore. I was looking at these places right up here that they just built, that's not for me. I was looking at possibly buying one. But for my desire, and I don't have any small children at home now, but it's just not my taste, just the location, because it's so cramped. But younger people and the younger generation, a lot of them are more into it, more professional, because they don't have small children or are retirees or whatever. They don't like to have to deal with the lawns and the stuff. But I understand you're concerned about the business, aspect and the traffic area. I have seen, when I went down to Atlanta, we were talking about the Chastain property, and I went and checked places out there. They had something similar to this, and it seemed to be working very well, you know, and I'm kind of mixing the two together. And so I think that it could be doable.
So with the zoning change, if it's passed, when does the restrictions on the property come into play? Is that afterwards?
As in when, to
So
the development standards?
such as we wanted, you know, buffers between properties and the retail versus commercial versus homeowners.
That would be tonight. So there is a 20-foot requirement between the residential and the commercial lots of landscaping. And there is a subdivision that's going along with this. Unless this is approved, the subdivision won't be approved. But the lot currently sits as one lot, and this would divide it as well.
So all we're really looking on is doing the lot and giving the change so they could possibly do.
But to further answer your question, the landscaping would be planted prior to the CO for the commercial building. It wouldn't be planted today.
They'd have to come back to you.
So if we wanted to put a restriction on this, that they could not pick up commercial garbage, like we did up here at the Integra Apartments, between certain hours, would that go in this piece of it?
It would be a condition of the zoning change, yes.
Because I don't have a clue, and, you know, if you have neighborhoods backing right up to it, you don't want them to pick up trash at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, even 5, you know? So,
Where are they doing that now in the city? Picking up,
well, you remember on Integra, one of the
Yes.
concerns was coming in there and picking up trash with
yeah,
the,
oh, I got you. It's not our local,
it's not the city of Collegedale.
yeah. That,
The emptying the dumpsters.
yeah.
So what feedback have we had from the neighbors?
Nothing really concerning the actual project itself. There was some stuff going on with downed trees that was on the property, but that's all that we really had.
Well, we had somebody show up one night and voice their opinion about it.
Right. She wanted an additional buffer, I think, that was added as a recommendation from the planning commission.
Yeah,
The buffer is larger between residential and commercial. And so when it was downzoned, that neighbor requested to keep the same
The
buffer
buffer.
that was added to the planning commission's recommendation.
Is there anybody here that lives impacted by this? I'm just curious. No? Okay.
So tonight, if this is just the first reading, right, that would
Right.
get us to a public hearing for if the subdivision next door wanted to come and speak about their concerns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Do we have a motion for approval for the zoning change?
I'll make a motion that we do it.
Okay, we have a motion for approval. Do we have a second?
I have a second for the second reading, for the
Okay.
first reading to go to the
Is
second.
that motion with the restrictions that planning commission recommended,
Yes,
landscaping?
yes. Definitely with the restrictions of planning commission.
Okay, we have a motion for approval and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Nay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yes. Okay, next new business bid approval for the remodel of 5070 Ooltewah Ringgold Road. Come enlighten us, please. We hope you have good news.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Got some exciting news. The long-awaited estimates have finally come in. To let you all know where the bids came in at, they came in as follows. Inheritance Construction came in at $159,233.91. Dynamic Construction came in at $160,100. Point General Contractors came in at $259,573. And it's my recommendation for the low bid at $159,233.91. Understanding that that bid did not include painting. interior painting, we got a separate estimate based on the buy board, the government contract that painted City Hall, which we knew we could get painting done cheaper by having that separated from the rest of the contract. But it still results in a shortage of $8,000. So it would result in an amendment, budget amendment at $8,000, which I thought was not bad at all.
Did it include the painting?
They did not either.
Okay.
No.
So nobody did.
No, but obviously Dynamic and Inheritance Construction, they were very close, within almost $1,000. So I feel like that's an accurate representation of what the job will cost. Not sure with Point General, theirs was quite a bit higher, but
So tell us what we're getting for that amount of money.
okay. So the existing mini split systems will be removed. New central 2 split, 95% gas split systems will be installed. We're going to have 2 public bathrooms on the back of the building, especially for the greenway. That's the main reason why we're looking at doing this renovation project, because I think everyone can agree right now that's definitely a thing that's lacking with our greenway system over there, having public restrooms. We're going to be reconfiguring some of the electrical wiring, because right now there's some illegal electrical wiring. With it being a commercial structure, there's Romex above the ceiling, and that has to be put in MC cabling to make it compliant with code that we're enforcing. There's some rewiring, reconfiguring of switches. We're converting to LED light fixtures for energy efficiency. Handicap toilets and grab bars in the bathrooms, that sort of thing. Ceramic tile in the bathrooms. The public bathrooms will have ceramic tile, plank tile on the floor, wall to ceiling tile, like the Imagination Station and Economic Development Center bathrooms, to make it durable, especially with them being public restrooms. It's going to make a lot more long lasting having that kind of finished structure on it. So, and then the remainder office area, that'll be carpeted with the same type of carpet tile we have here in City Hall.
So how much office space is Parks and Rec going to have with this?
They're going to have the main large areas that come in, and then there's going to be one separate office that we'll have for their availability and use. We're going to be removing the one hallway wall that currently leads to the main bathroom. That's going to open all that up, and there'll be a drinking fountain in there with a water bottle fill station. There'll also be a water bottle fill station in the back where the main entrance for the public bathrooms will be, where people can fill up their water bottles if they're walking on the greenway and get a drink of water, if you will.
And the little kitchen area is gone as well.
No, we're going to be putting that back. Kitchen cabinets will be put back in there along with the stainless sink. And so it'll be still a break area available.
Was there asbestos in this building?
There was in the mastic, the glue used to hold the VCT, vinyl commercial tile, but all that was removed. We were able to get it done substantially cheaper, having it done separately ourselves rather than including in this bid proposal. So it worked out well, and we got clearance testing. So now it's the asbestos item has been addressed.
Is there going to be additional expenses with this new building for furniture and computers, all that stuff that fills a new building?
I would defer to our city manager on that one.
The computers would be moved over, desks would be moved over. It wouldn't surprise me at some time in the future, something like tables may be needed. But the plan right now is not to buy a bunch of new furniture. It's to keep using what they're using.
And as of right now, the cost, if you so chose to allocate it, would be $7,000 to paint the exterior. But Wayne and I both discussed and agreed that it would be nice, but that could wait till a later time. Our main focus is getting the interior finished, to have a functional public bathroom available for residents and other people that use our greenway.
Have we had any residents say that the one that's already here at Imagination Station and the one down by Thatcher Switch aren't close enough?
I would be one of those people to say that. I've been on the greenway desperately looking for a bathroom quickly, and that's exactly where I needed a bathroom.
Yes.
There are a couple of trails just shy of the duck pond that people are using for the restrooms.
Is there in this, does it have any cost for extending the concrete from the back of the med station to the Greenway?
That'll be included in the sidewalk extension in next year's budget. That way we can get the bathrooms built first and then pour the sidewalk to it.
So the events like the Jedi Camp and other events that they host, are they looking to host those there?
Probably not those ones, like the knitting group, the mahjong, those would more likely be over there. The Jedi training and that sort of thing is a little more energetic than that space would really be. So those would probably stay over at the Commons for the time being.
Okay.
Is there
our-
signage
Go ahead.
included in this?
Signage was not included, no.
Are we going to do signage?
In a future budget. At some point in time, we would love to get all of the signage to match, but they're $22,000 a piece, so we're going to need to eat at them very slowly.
Is this already built into the budget presentation we're seeing next week? Not the exact number, but a similar number?
This was part of this year's budget. It was budgeted. Now we won't have it done if it's approved, so there will be an amendment to catch the difference as it rolls over.
How much was budgeted this year?
With expenses that I've allocated that were part of capital outlay that could be used for that, we had 164,500. So a majority of it would cover the cost. There'd be a $8,000 amount about that would tie into a budget amendment type category or overage, if you will.
That's really not that much.
No,
It's not unusual to have, it's an estimate anyway,
correct.
when you do a budget.
Is the garage area still going to be used for public works, for storage?
It will be used for storage, but since Public Works and the landscapers who it was originally thought of are using their trailer, it won't be for them.
Okay, more for the
More for
parks.
Parks and
Rec?
Rec to get
Okay.
rid of the temporary structure behind the EDC that is now the front of the EDC.
So my only concern about holding some of the events there at the location is parking.
That's why it would need to be much smaller.
Even the knitting or whatever the wording was a minute ago, I'm not sure. Because we really can't park during the day and,
Correct, it's very limited. So that's why it would be very limited in what would be hosted there. It's more of a centralized location on the Greenway and a storage location for the items that they currently have.
Now, one thing that would maybe work is a weekend type activity with the school not being in service on the weekends. They'd have that school parking lot adjacent to it at the middle school. That might be a possibility. That could be factored in, just a thought.
Well, I like the idea of putting restrooms there, and we really need them on the Greenway.
Mhm.
So I'm all in favor of that.
it saves us from having to build a separate restroom. I agree, and I appreciate Hamilton County donating this to us, so.
Any further discussion?
I can completely appreciate needing a restroom as I'm getting older, but just right now, it's too much money in one large chunk when we're looking at a proposed property tax increase. I can't see it right now.
This was already in the budget, most of it for this past year though, right?
Except for $8,000, that's correct.
8,000. So really, we're looking for just an 8,000, what I want to say overage possibly.
That's correct.
Not even 8,000,
No,
it's the
it's-
difference between the 164.
Yeah,
Well, but we've already spent some funds. We've already spent about $7,636 between, we had to do a roof repair, we had to do the asbestos inspection testing, asbestos abatement, and then a Knox box for the building. So, yeah, that's the difference.
But kind of just like with home budgeting, if I had originally expected to spend that this month and I decided not to spend it, well, then I still have that money in my pocket next month when something else happens.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion for approval and a second, and we have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Sadler,
Nay.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay.
Thank you.
And next item we have is the purchase approval of 4 stalker radar units for the police department. Chief Sapp, if you would please enlighten us.
Sir?
If you'd please enlighten us.
Yes, sir. As you know, we've got 4 cars, 4 new vehicles on order, and as we continue to get ready to uplet those and get them out into the fleet, so we need to purchase 4 new radar units for those 4 vehicles. The individual price for each unit is $2,518. We're purchasing 4 for a total price of $10,376. The money, of course, was budgeted with equipment for the new vehicles, but this is all state grant money, so the city will be, and the state's already approved the purchase, so the city will be reimbursed for the cost of these 4 units.
I had a question at the top about it saying current ordered units. Have they already been ordered?
No, he meant for the vehicles that have been currently ordered.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
I will
Second.
sec-
Oh,
okay.
go ahead.
We have a motion for approval and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Sadler?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. And next, bid approval for greenway repair at Tucker Road and University Drive. Jake, we're gonna get this spruced up.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission members. Chris McAloon, staff engineer with the city. As I'm sure you're aware, the derailment subsequent cleanup at University and Tucker did cause some damage to greenway infrastructure. We put a contract together, went out to bid, and did receive 1 bid from Wilson Construction in the amount of $138,200. That vendor actually was the vendor who recently completed the Little Debbie and Scooters Greenway improvements. So we would look favorably on awarding this contract and getting this work underway. I'll have the city manager confirm, but I understand any expense the city incurs as part of this will be reimbursed by Norfolk Southern.
Yeah, that's what Norfolk Southern shared with me was basically they said, pick out who you want to do it, have them do the work and send us the bill. So they've assured me more than one occasion that it would be fully reimbursed. So tell us what all is going to be done for this.
So really, the impact was the protective walkway structure. There was a steel frame structure at the Greenway underpass of the railroad, about 4,000 square foot of sidewalk from that crossing to the bathroom, and just some incidental curb and guardrail work. Again, that was just impacted during the cleanup.
Okay.
Do we have in writing from Norfolk Southern that they guarantee they'll reimburse us?
There is nothing in writing that I have seen.
I have an
Like I
email
said,
that says typical practice, but it is not a firm guarantee.
Could we reach out to them and just,
That was what they gave.
Firm
me
it
when
up.
we reached out.
Yeah.
That they didn't have the authority to say absolutely firm, but that typical practice was to be reimbursed.
okay.
It's pretty clear whose fault it is.
The repairs, will this cover everything that's necessary to reopen that road and the facility out there?
Not the road itself, I believe that's going to be handled by TDOT. But this really will get the greenway walkway open, not the pavement itself leading to the parking.
So we won't have to bid out anything additional. TDOT will repair the road right there.
That's our understanding currently.
Okay.
That will be firmed up before we put out our typical paving bid in case we have to line item it.
Okay, any other further questions, comments? Well, I will make a motion for approval,
I'll second.
and we have a second. And can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker?
Yes.
Commissioner Sadler?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson?
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you very much. And next, we have our March finance report.
Good evening, Commissioners. You should have the March finance report in front of you.
At this time, we're 75% of the way through the year, and we've received 97% of projected revenues and have spent 71% of our budgeted expenditures. We have already addressed all of the outliers for the year throughout the different finance reports I've given, and we're looking great headed into the final quarter. And as far as the bank balances go, we haven't done any transfers for the month or anything like that. So they've stayed pretty much the same.
Okay. Any questions from any of the commissioners? Okay. We have a motion for approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. We have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And next, request for reports from city administration. Any of our city officials, Mr. Byford, I believe you have some things that you'd like to share.
Good evening. Yeah, so Friday we had a meeting with TDOT Aeronautics. They were kind enough to come down and meet with us in person about trying to advance the airport in many of the ways that we've been discussing previously. The best conclusion that we did come up with from the meeting was that they're going to allow us to begin our airport layout plan ahead of schedule. We were not anticipating to start that until 2025. And they're going to allow us to start that very soon. We're looking to start that at the beginning of the next budget year. So we're going to start resequencing some projects in our capital improvement plan to get that going ahead of schedule, what we anticipated. Also continuing to look at the Beacon Tower. We're going to rehabilitate that and get that repaired, as well as get some new solar LED runway lights that we do need. As you know, some of the lights are inoperable, so we're going to buy enough lighting to place at those specific locations that will fix that. But definitely good news from TDOT, and we're certainly moving the ball forward.
Is the lighting where I offered to come with a trench and trench that up for you?
That is part of it.
Oh, okay. I still would offer to do that for you.
Yeah, the meeting with TDOT went very, very well and certainly worked in Collegedale's favor.
Mhm. Yeah.
Great job.
Thank you.
Any other city? All right, Mr. Hines.
Shredding tomorrow, 3 to 6 in the parking lot. It's be a big push. We'll do an update on social media in the morning to help remind everybody, but that's become a very successful event for us.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. All right, and reports or comments from any of our commissioners?
Can we get the latest update on our systems being hacked?
So the last desktop is getting back up and running. It'll probably be tomorrow. We have rolled out our two-part authentication. You should have received an email about that. And I've been in contact with PEP, and we're looking at what level of forensic analysis they want to do and dark web monitoring on what may be released. And so that should all be getting answered in the next few days. And then we have a kickoff phone call with our new vendor on Thursday, and they expect to be on site Monday of next week through Thursday to start mapping everything in a path forward for our first quarter projects.
Did you sign a contract with VC3?
I did.
When did you sign that?
I would have to check the date, probably a month or so back after we received the bid. It was approved by the commission sometime prior, and then there was no additional bids, and it was the same amount approved.
When did we receive that bid?
I would have to check the date. It was about a month ago.
We haven't voted in the past month on an IT vendor.
It was voted on and approved prior. Sam explained that to you in the email chain.
Sam also explained to me that after it was bid, it should have came to the commission.
He also said that what was done was okay.
I think what he intended was we got lucky because there was only one bid. I'm asking this because going forward, bids really need to come in front of the commission. There's a process for a reason.
There is a process for a reason, and it was approved by the commission and signed.
The bid that we received was not approved by the commission because it was never bid out before.
The exact scope of work was approved by that vendor with no competing vendors.
Do you see why that's so muddy?
I think you're trying to make an issue out of something that's not one.
Is this the one we did back in December or October?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
It is.
And it was the one that we put out to bid under Sam's recommendation after our current vendor cried sour grapes to protect any liability. And so the scope of work was the exact same scope of work. The price was the exact same. There was only one vendor, one bidder. Had there been multiple bidders, it would have been a different situation.
So what was the ballpark on this, excuse me, this contract?
There was two scopes of work. One was approximately 80,000 and the other was in the 200-ish range.
So that's what you've committed us to, about 200,000?
It's,
I think it's what the commission has.
It is
submitted us to.
exactly what the
It's-
commission-
He didn't do it on his own.
I didn't vote for anything.
Then you may not have, but it did come before us. There was a commission and then it was voted on. It was explained to by Sam.
Yes.
You know, that he's telling the truth on.
Okay.
And that is true because he doesn't, nor has he ever, or any commission here, anything that is required, because we do have policies, it does come before us. But I see where you're. I
Yeah,
understand what you're
I'm not
saying.
trying to say anything malicious has occurred. I just think we should keep things very procedural so we don't end up
We're
in a
extremely
situation.
procedural. We're extremely procedural, believe me.
I think we're making improvements on it.
Yeah.
But I also want, so we're now doing the two-factor authentication. So that explains the email we got today. We're supposed to set that up on our
Correct.
behalf as well.
once everyone sets it up, it is rolling out.
Okay.
So you can set up either your phone number or the PIN number that.
Correct. Yeah, it's a duo. There was an email from Tom telling everyone that it was coming.
And you said that there are agencies helping to investigate who hacked into us. Is that correct?
We have notified them.
Okay.
They typically are not very voracious in investigating these types of situations.
I will say there seems to be something in junk going around because Dalton Public Schools, the whole city got hacked 3-4 weeks ago. Similar ransomware, you know, and all that kind of stuff going on. So it's not just us.
Right.
It's the surrounding area that this is, it's been a nightmare for places all the way around in other parts of the city. So it's not just us. You know,
It's very unfortunate.
extremely.
And I would like to say that all these text messages I've gotten the last 5 days is related to that. Like this morning, I think I mentioned to you, they started about 4 o'clock in the morning that all my accounts have been locked in, which they're not. You know, I verified that after I got out of bed. But, you know, it's just you report it as spam or,
Yeah.
and you never hear anything back from it. So
Did we ever find out if it was like, you might be waiting on this, is it something somebody clicked or is it where they were just guess somebody's password or?
I have not received a firm answer. If we are able to find an answer, it would come out of that forensic look. Frankly, our approach with our current IT vendors was to protect the network and get back up and running very quickly. And so we didn't do a forensic analysis first while we were shut down. We got everything protected and back up. So I'm not sure how much detail we will get out of that analysis. The biggest thing with the analysis is the same firm is able to monitor the dark web for the files, should any be released.
And I'm sure some of y'all probably, I mean, I've been getting stuff that says, even from the McKees, which I know it's not them, you know, information and stuff, which I reported it to them and to the police department previously because I've had that to happen several months ago, back in the summer. Things, falling, hacking and all. This 3 times I've been hacked through different agencies, from school, from here, and all. But it's just cyber attacks.
Well, thank you for all that you're doing. I know it's been a huge headache to all of you and the inconvenience of it all. Thank you for your due diligence.
So I know Eric's out of town this week. Is that correct?
Yes.
I had reported to him, just in case anybody else hears about this, I had a couple of people comment that at Ole Highway and Little Debbie Parkway, one of the metal plate that goes across the concrete, looks like a truck had ran over it and bent it, and he passed that on for somebody to look at and see what we can do to repair that. Also, Epsom Pike at Little Debbie thrift store,
Mhm.
where he mentioned that they were going to fix that bump in the road, T-Dot. It's back. And I had a couple of people complaining about that last night. So I don't know if all the rain has helped it sink in or go away, but it needs to be looked at again.
Can I interject something there?
Yes.
Sorry. I received a couple of emails from a lady, a citizen concerning over on Tucker Road, requesting speed bumps and so forth. And I told her that is something I relayed over to the Public Works. That would be something we have to look at. Because to me, I know in my neighborhood, we talked about it once before and it would not be feasible. But I just wanted to let him know, so if he could check and see, because she was talking about the speeders through there and some of the road things. Of course, when they start working to get to Tucker Road, that could be problem.
Yeah, and I've spoken with Chief Sapp about that, and he's assured me that his officers are on it.
And-
That email was forwarded and we responded back and we're stepping up enforcement and some education.
And MTS is not in favor of speed humps.
I also explained that to her.
Yeah.
And we've approved 4 new radar units. So Chief, we're counting on it.
Yes, sir.
Help us get our money's worth. We appreciate you slowing people down, because I think that's probably the single most comment I get is, we want people to slow down in our neighborhoods.
Well, summer coming along.
Yeah,
That's
summer's coming along.
people out cruising. So that's all I've got.
One question I had, I know we've had some comments in the past about the American flag in Veterans Park. Are we looking to replace that?
Yes, I recently approved the purchase to replace the flags.
Okay,
We typically do it just after Easter, so late April, early May.
very good.
Tracking just like we've done in years past, and when VFW did it, they did it at the same time.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
And I had passed on to Eric that one of the flags was upside down. And it's hard to tell, but you can tell if you really look at it. Do you know if that got fixed?
I don't know.
Okay, I'll ask him.
You might have to come. Might have to tell them.
Okay, any other comments from commissioners? Okay, that's all that we have. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So move.
And a second.
Second.
One second.
And we have a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Baker,
Yes.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Johnson,
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And we stand adjourned. Thank you for being here with us this evening.